Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to a day of nothing. It's just a video because um, I did not use a sketch for Follow Sketch February for this one, and I am not using any of my Kit Conspiracy stuff. What I am using is the Christmas Spectacular Collection leftovers that I had from December from wood grain and winter. So I am using my leftovers, but I'm kind of departing from doing Kit Conspiracy just because I worked on a few layouts at a retreat that I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys, but they were not left from a particular kit that we used in November, which I have been trying to focus on for this month. Using those up. So anyway, this is Christmas Spectacular from 49 and Market, and this paper that I'm cutting up right now is from the Ultimate Page Kit. I really like buying the Ultimate Page Kits and the Embellishment Cluster Kit because it gives you a lot of different ephemera pieces or laser cut chipboard pieces that you can use as your embellishments without having to buy the entire collection. So I've kind of gone to buying those two items as like my main parts, and then I add in probably the solids and the patterned paper. I don't always use the paper from the from the Ultimate Page Kits, but this paper I am using, and I am obviously fussy cutting it. So I'm going to take those two papers, yellow papers from the background. Those are from what they consider their solids. If I were to flip them over, they are more solid looking than what you see there. And I'm going to use those as my base layers, and then I'm going to cut this one up, and I'm going to use it as a layer, and I'm going to pull in one of their patterned papers from the pattern paper set. So I'm 3 different sets of paper here, you guys. One from the Ultimate Page Kit, one from the solids, and one from the pattern paper. And then the photos that I'm using there are of my niece's middle child, and that's her first Christmas, which was last year, not 2023, which was 2022. So, and then there's a picture of me with her, there's a picture of my mom with her, and then their entire family picture. And so I wanted to go ahead and capture that for my niece. It's going to go to her, and I think that she's going to really like it. So I love making these. It's just a lot of fun. I am considering cutting down a couple of the pictures to fit inside these frames, so don't be surprised if that happens or when that happens. Sitting there thinking about it. It's just one of those things I don't like to go ahead and cut it until I know for sure. I could always reprint because I reprint it or I print my photos at home, but you know, I'd rather be sure before I go ahead and cut into them. So I did make the decision to cut them, but I didn't go quite as small as the little square photo frames. I went with the rectangular ones. I don't actually know the measurement on those. They're probably close to 2 by 3 or something to that effect. So my apologies that I don't have a measurement. It's just whatever came with the kit. And then I'm going to use this red paper. I am going to tear it and use it in my background as one of the layers, and I think it's going to be really pretty. I really love the pattern that's on it, and of course I love all of the distressing in the pattern, so I think that's really cool. Now I did not want my little white torn edges showing, so I made sure to tear it so that they weren't showing, and just tuck the white edge in. So now this other red piece, I'm not going to use the red piece, I'm going to use the branding strip off of it. I think that's really cute. It's going to provide a little depth of color. They've got their Christmas pajamas on that are black with, I don't remember if they're deer or trees on them, to be honest with you. And I don't have the layout sitting in front of me, so I can't even tell you that. But I'm going to go ahead and use that black piece because I think it works really well with what they're wearing. And then I am going to use a rub-on that says Dear Santa on it, and there are 2 of the Dear Santas here. I'm going to use the larger of the 2, so that there's a smaller one and then a larger one. I'm going to use a little bit of acetate to rub the rub-on title onto, and that's going to allow me to move it around wherever I want. And then it's also going to allow me to make it so it goes over two different papers, it kind of bridge the gap without having to worry about the papers wiggling around and then the rub-on kind of being torn in half. So I just went ahead and rubbed it right onto the acetate, and then I'm going to fussy cut around the rub-on so that it's not like there's a huge piece of acetate. And I didn't even have to kind of align them on the acetate because I want them two separate pieces so that they can be stacked on top of each other as a title versus reading them vertically across. I wanted them to kind of like one on top, one above the other. So I'm just using my scissors to trim that out, and then I'm going to ink up all of my papers with some black soot distress ink just to give a little bit more black to this, a little bit more depth, a little bit more differentiation between the layers. I really like how it just makes the layers pop, and just kind of finishes it all off for me, especially since I'm adding all of these little pops of black. There's kind of, this is not the most colorful layout that I've done, but there's a lot of color going on between the red and the yellow and the green and the pattern and all of that. So I feel like bringing the black in kind of gives your eye a little place to rest, kind of like a white space would do, even though white space is not always 100% white. It just gives your eye kind of like, okay, there's some solidness and some depth, and just it makes it a little less confusing to the eye, I think. So that's what I'm doing. So once I get my photos figured out and the placement figured out, I decide I'm going to go ahead and start gluing things down. Well, I think I'm going to glue things down. Boy, I'm being slow today at making decisions. I'm going to go ahead and glue all of my pieces down, and I'm going to go ahead and glue them right across the center of that yellow paper. I'm just making sure that horizontally I have enough of that green paper showing at the bottom and at the top. I might have to trim a couple of those leaves off as they overhang the top, but I didn't want the little green diagonal stripe to be stuck underneath the photographs where I wouldn't be able to see it. So that's what I was just kind of measuring there to make sure that it's going to be visible. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue my red paper down. I kind of went a little bit diagonal, but it's okay because it's a ripped edge. So I think it's fine. It's not, it really is diagonal because of the ripped edge. As you can see here, it is lined up the way it should be, but that bottom piece is kind of on a diagonal tear. And I'm okay with it. I'm going to leave it as is. And I'm just going to go ahead and embrace the imperfection of it. That is what happens sometimes when you're tearing papers. No big deal. I'm also not going to have my photos lined up perfectly straight across the layout because I think that would make it look even more wonky. I'm going to have them just with slight tilts here and there, which is kind of unusual for me. I usually am very much a line them up, make a grid, go straight across type of a person. But in this case, because everything else is a little bit wonky, I thought I'm just going to go a little bit slightly off, and then it'll look like it's supposed to be that way. So when I trimmed out my branding strip, the paper was slightly more than 12 inches at the cut mark for the branding strip. So I was just trimming that little red sliver off so that it wouldn't be, it wouldn't show. And then I inked it up with some black soot distress ink as well. And then I'm taking a leftover piece of that green piece from the center, and I'm going to use it inside this little square frame, and I like how that looks. Now I do want to bring a little bit more interest up above the photos and down below the photos, so I'm just working on my embellishment clusters now. I do like all of the black that's on here, so I'm going to add this black doily. I think it's really pretty, and this is also from the 49 and Market collection, the Christmas Spectacular collection. I believe it's probably from the page kit, but you never know. because I pulled from both the page kit and the embellishment clusters. I just think it's really cute, and I'm going to go ahead and use it. And then as you can see, that little frame, I went ahead and added that little green there. That's going to be a little spot for some journaling. Could also journal in the white space above that black branding strip, but that's going to get really small really fast because as you can see, I'm adding a few things and I'm not done adding there. So it could work, but I would have to leave some of these pieces off. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and cover that area a little bit, that white space at the top, and then do my journaling elsewhere. I did punch out a few of the holly leaves and berries from the page kit, and I am adding some of those. I really love the foliage that they include in their collections, and I'm using a little bit of foam tape to pop some of those pieces up, especially that one that is overlapping the frame down at the bottom. And I think that's really cute. It kind of fills in the blank space next to the frame, between the frame and where it says deer. So I think that works really well. More inking with some black soot distress ink, and my ink is not super juicy, so it's kind of looks a little more smoky than black, but it works fine for me. That's kind of what I like about it, that it's not super black. If I want it really black, then I will really go into my ink and soak up more in that foam pad and go over it multiple times. So usually I kind of prefer a little bit less than more. So these are just stamps and a little tag, I guess. It's not really a tag, a label that I tucked in up at the top. I think it's really cute. I'm pretty happy with the way that came out. I am just figuring out cutting apart my paper, and then I'm going to try and place that word Santa because I know it's going to need to be cut, which is totally okay. It's part of the plan. But I know it's going to end up bridging between the two pieces here. And this is another reason why I wanted to make sure that I had it on acetate and didn't just go right straight to the page with that rub on, because it probably would have messed it up a bit when I cut it apart. And I really like having it on the clear acetate because you can still see everything behind it, and I think that's really cute. I'm adding this black frame to the left-hand side here with her photo in it, and I'm just adding a little bit of the chipboard from the same pack underneath it to add support so that her photo doesn't recess into the frame at all. And then adding a label and a couple of other little pieces to finish that off. I am going to add a little more foliage around that frame. I think it needs a little something organic over in this area. Even though that frame has a little bit of scroll work, it's not perfect straight lines. I think the addition of the holly looks really cute there, and then tucking a little bit diagonal across under the photo of her sitting with my mom on my mom's lap. I think that's really cute too. And adding a label over there as well in that bottom right hand corner. So I know I have not been putting as many videos out this month, and that's okay with me. I apologize to you guys that it's not like every other day or anything, but that is what I could manage. MK and I both have a cruise coming up that we are teaching on, and so we are getting ready for that. So I don't have as much time as I would have liked to get videos ready for you guys before going, but I wanted to make sure that I don't that I'm well prepared. So hopefully once we come back and with March and 30 days of sketches, things pick up a little bit. I will have a little bit more on my channel than I have now, and hopefully I will have more on my Facebook group also, because I haven't been doing a whole lot over there since Christmas time, and everything kind of went haywire with my mom's fall and all of that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll get things picked back up soon. Anyway, I am sprinkling a little bit of gold Heidi Swap color shine over this layout, and that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave those down below. I will get back to you as quickly as I can. I'll be back again on Friday with another video for Mixed Media Mayhem, And so come back and see me then. And I know I'll have at least 2, maybe 3 videos a week for the next few weeks here until March. Thanks so much for watching. If hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed this one, and if you're not already subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel as well, and go visit my Facebook group. The link is down below for that if you're interested. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.